Welcome to Unleashed Podcast, where all are welcome. Now, here is your host, Pup Twigs.
Hey everyone, Pup Twigs here, another episode for season 4 of Unleashed. And joining me today, I've got Savage Pup. How are you?
Great to see you, Pup. I'm doing great, having a good day.
Well, that's always good that we had those good days. There's not a whole lot of them around sometimes. So I like to get right into it. This is season 4. We're kicking off. You're going to be my episode number 2. And I just want to find a little bit about sharing about your journey and what being part of the LGBTQIA plus community means to you.
Well, it has really been eye-opening and personality developing over the last few years. I wasn't very familiar with pups until I think 2019, and when I saw like my first pup walking down the street during St. Pete Pride Festival, and he
Hmm.
had a sign that said "Free Hugs." And it was the most adorable thing I had ever seen. And it was so friendly and just so welcoming that it really connected with me. And it took a while for me to kind of incorporate that. And it wasn't for a few years that I actually, put on a hood in public. And
Okay.
so I was just at like a bear event and I did that. And then I started going out. I went dancing, had a great time, met some great pups, and it was just it really allowed me to regain some things that I think I had lost
Yes.
in my journey, and and things just kind of progressed over time. I met different pups. I went to different kinds of events, and I really just began to interact more as much as I could, and I just met some great people, and it's really become something that's important to me that I share all the time.
And that's always good. It seems like that the hoods seem to give, I hate to say encouragement or courage, but it just gives you a whole new level to your own psyche by putting it on.
It really does, and I would say that at first it was a really important part for me to be able to let go.
Yeah.
And I have found over time that my actual pup nature uh, begins to express itself more. And so I don't need to be in the hood. Sometimes the hood is just for certain situations. But like when I'm out, at a different event, it'll come on and off, and it'll just be, and then just in my regular life, I feel that part of me that I was able to bring forward that took a little bit when I was wearing my hood.
Yeah, I agree. I love to have mine. It almost goes everywhere I go, just in case I need it sometime.
Mhm.
Well, I want to find out if you could leave listeners with one message about love and acceptance or just being true to yourself, what would that message be?
Well, I think that uh, so one of the big lessons I think from the movie Wicked, and which is now coming out this week,
Yes.
um, is about being your unlimited self. I think that when we are around people, and we tend to feel a little bit of pressure to like certain things. So as a pup, you might find that there are some things that you really connect with, and there
Yes.
are others that you don't. And that's okay, because if you just look at the wide variety of pups who are out there, you look at Instagram and you just see the thousands of pups who are out there who are so different, and they are successful being different. So you might hang around with certain pups who like certain things, and but this is about your journey. This is about who you are and what you are comfortable with. So find those things that you really connect with and go for them, because you are just wonderful. You are a wonderful person, and 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 being yourself, being that unlimited self, not controlled by other people's limits, what other people think pups are. because there's so many stereotypes about what pups are. You be your kind of pup, and I will love you for it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Just be yourself. Well, what advice would you give someone that is just starting to embrace their identity?
I would say, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to make that first hello. You go to a pup event, and whether or not you have any pup gear or anything, say hello to a pup.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to hang around. So what I found was that after I met some pups, and then I would like go out to an event or even just a bar night, I would see them. I had to push myself, but I pushed myself to go and say hello again and just tell them, "Oh, it's good to see you." And you don't need to stick around.
Yeah.
You can just say, "Hey, I saw you. I just wanted to stop by and say hi." Now maybe a conversation will strike up and you'll start talking about something and you'll be comfortable. But that gives you a little bit of an out to be like, I just wanted to stop by and say hi. And then, like I said, maybe it'll go on, maybe it won't. But making those connections is going to be so important to, making such bigger connections and feeling welcomed in the tribe.
Well, yeah, and sometimes that's an icebreaker for them. You go over and talk to them, and that kind of gets them out of their shell, and now they're going to go talk to somebody.
Definitely, definitely. And what I found was that I was always the one who went and said hello. And because we have our little groups and we start talking, and so sometimes it's just like, why doesn't anybody come and say hello to me? And yeah, you feel it, but I tell you, just you just make that little push for that one time, and you can just step away. It's
Yes.
okay to go in, say hi, and step away. And the more you do that, the next time one of them is going to come up to you and say, "Oh, it's so good to see you back."
Yes, I agree. Well, you know, I know you guys have some really good pride events over there as we do over here, but has there been a favorite event or pride thing that you've attended that you would like to mention?
I really enjoyed the St. Pete Pride Parade. This was my first opportunity this past year to walk in the parade and be my pup self. And I had such a blast.
Hmm.
The crowd was incredible. They were cheering. I don't know if they were cheering when everybody else came up, but they loved us. They
Yes.
were so happy, and the pups, they went out and they walked up to the crowd and they handed things out and they wagged their tails and they barked, and the crowd was wonderful. And it made us all feel very appreciated and very loved. And what a truly tremendous experience. I would definitely do that again.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to it once and I really did enjoy it. So, what misconceptions about the LGBTQIA community do you wish other people understood?
Um, a lot of people, when they hear about pride or LGBTQ, they think that it's all about sex,
Yeah.
that this is the thing. And especially in the pup community, there's this stereotype that pups are all about sex. And, pup play is all about sex. And
Hmm.
and and the community is really about loving others and loving yourself, being
Yeah.
being being happy because you can love the way you want to. And I think that we see all the stuff that just makes people think, oh, this is just about sex, and it's not. It's about it's about you. It's about love, loving yourself, and loving others.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Well, this is kind of a fun question. If you could just manage or instantly master one talent, what do you think, what talent would you want?
I I would love to dance. I mean, I can get out there and I can dance, but I feel so uncoordinated when I'm out there. And I don't know, growing up, I just always saw, and I was amazed by choreography, about the wonderful things that, we could do. I grew up in the time of, Michael Jackson and Paul Abdul, and just the
Yes.
wonderful things, and you see in all these musicals like Wicked, just all this choreography that they do,
Oh,
and
I agree.
it's just incredible. But you try and teach me the salsa, I am a mess. I tried to take a salsa lesson with my sister. She was point on, and I was just a total mess. So let me dance.
So dancing it is then. All right. Well, what has been one of your proudest or most affirming moments that you've had so far?
Um, So, in my life, I started obstacle course racing back in like 2014, and that has become a huge part of who I am.
Okay.
And in 2021, I made it a goal to run every obstacle course with this one company that year. And I ran 13 races over like an 8-month period all across the country.
Wow.
So I went and I drove everywhere. I went to Texas twice. I was up in Chicago, up and down the East Coast. And the fact that I completed all 13 races, that that made me feel like a savage.
Oh, I bet. Yes. That's a lot of courses to attend in 8 months.
It is. It was like every like 2 to 5 weeks I was somewhere else.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. Well, who was your first celebrity or character that you actually had a crush on?
Whew. So I'm an older pup. So I've been around for a while, and um, I think that Gil Gerard, who played Buck Rogers, was my first real crush. I thought that there was just something so sexy about him. And in fact, there's one episode where he ended up turning into a satyr, one of those mythical beasts. And
Yes.
I don't know, and maybe that was something along my, me one day becoming a pup. But there was just something so comforting and erotic and wonderful about this man. Him and probably Tom Selleck were just like the icons for me, back in the day.
Oh, I can't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with old pups. We're all still here. So,
Yes, we are.
well, what does community mean to you, and where do you go to find your community?
I think that community is really about it being having a place where you are exactly you.
Yes.
And it gets back to that thing about being unlimited and not having to conform to what others think that you should be. And so I have found that that the pup community has been you know has been very warm and welcoming. When the pups that I know, and I say hi, and they make me feel good to
Hmm.
be there and to be who I am, and I can be in whatever headspace I want, and they are going to love me. And so being in that space, where you just are comfortable with the you that you are, and any of those spaces, that is where your community is.
Yes. Well, I know we talked about talent earlier, and one of the things I wish I could do was sing and everything. I don't know if you do karaoke, but if you do, what is your go-to karaoke song? Or just if you don't, what is your one song that it hits you every time you hear it?
Well, the very first song that I ever did karaoke was "Walking After Midnight" by Patsy Cline.
Oh, yes.
And but my current go-to song is really "Defying Gravity." And while you don't want to hear me sing it, that song is so inspiring to me. And and I don't normally buy albums or something, but I got the soundtrack for Wicked because there's so many of the songs, and it means the world to me. And I think all of us really need a little more of learning how to fly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree. And yeah, Wicked is my go-to movie at this point. So yes. So what kind of challenges have you faced and how have you, overcome them?
Um, well, specifically, as a pup, my big challenge was really connecting with the community. It was difficult for me. There were times where, like I had said, there were times where I felt like I was always the one who said hi.
Hmm.
It's like, and it's like, do these guys even recognize me? Do these even know me? And so that was difficult. There were times when I was just like, what the fuck? What am I doing? Excuse my French. But um, uh, and so getting past that really um, has been a real challenge. I find that the hard work paid off,
Hmm.
but that challenge was really difficult to get over, and I think I think that it has all been worth it.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Well, before we get to this last question, I wanted to also ask you something that's not on the script, but I know you ran for Florida Puppy this year and
Oh,
wanted to hear a little bit about your journey and what the outcome was for those that don't know.
well, um, I have attended the Florida Puppy Contest multiple times, and I remember um, seeing my first Florida Puppy Contest, and I felt so inspired. That was the season that Waddlebutt won Florida Puppy, and and I watched all these puppies on the stage who were just showing who they were, and and here were all this crowd and this audience, and they were happy to see them, and it felt so good,
Yes.
and I felt so inspired by it, and it was and I went through and watched the next year, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And it was then that I started to think, do I want to, is this something I would want to do? And I didn't do it. But I felt that these pups had really come forward and shown who they were, and and I wanted to kind of do the same thing. Whether or
Hmm.
not I won or not didn't really matter. If I had that message that I wanted to share, and I wanted to show them how I would do it, and that maybe some pup might be inspired by something that I did, that was what I wanted to do. So then that next year came around, and I went back and forth. I was like, um, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? And I went back and forth even after I registered for the contest. It was a it was like a daily battle sometimes about what am I doing? And and I had a message that I wanted to share that year. And um and I lost. Oh my goodness. So but my message back then was um, um, imagine, create, you, because that's really a very important message to how we get to be who we want to do, how we get in our journey.
Hmm.
And I had a blast during the competition. I was a wreck for months up to it. So, but I had a blast during the competition, and I was actually runner up that year. And so, and I was so happy to be runner up. And one of the things I was happy about, I guess, was not having any responsibility as runner up. And people asked me, they told me, oh, you should run again. And I was like, well, if I have another message, then maybe I'll run again. And then sure enough, the new year started this past year. The new year started, and I was like, I have a new message. And so I signed up for Florida Puppy, And again, it was a lot of the same kind of, what am I doing? Oh, this is crazy. But the competition came up and I shared my message and I won. So you are looking at Florida Puppy 2026. And
Awesome.
and this year that message um, was about being your unlimited self.
Yes.
And that fed right through into my speech, into my scene, into my interviews, because I just think it is so important for us to be who we really want to be and to create that person that we want to be. And that's going to make us our happiest self. And in fact, my scene was my scene was the background music for my scene was Defying Gravity.
Oh,
And
that is really cool.
and so it was a lot. But here I am, Florida Puppy. I do have responsibilities, and I would like to point out to any pup who is just interested in being a model, um, inspiring people, showing them who you are. It really opened doors for me that first year that I ran, because
Hmm.
after the competition, I had so many people come up to me and say nice things, and it really just opened some doors for me. I think that as a pup, if you want to share yourself, there are competitions out there. Next year's Florida Puppy will be available. That'll be running in September. There's also coming up at the end of January, there is the Florida Critter and Trainer contest that will be held down in Wilton Manors at the Eagle. They had it back here in Tampa last year.
Okay.
Um, but I know that I don't know when this will air, but uh, the applications for Florida Critter and Trainer are live right now. You can catch it on Facebook, and those applications are available until December 15th.
Okay.
Uh, it's a great experience for people. It really will open up doors for you. You get to share who you are, and um, and I encourage anybody who is thinking about um, their journey and about inspiring others, because you really are unique, and we all want to see it.
Well, it's really good to hear your story and your journey to finally winning Florida Puppies, and congratulations on that.
Woohoo!
Well, one last question for you. What is your ultimate LGBTQIA plus icon or role model?
Um, well, again, I grew up in this earlier day, and I think that Cyndi Lauper really is an amazing person. I mean, she's like, I don't know, she's like 70 years old now, but when she came out, she's an ally. She's not. She has been a really supportive of the LGBTQ community.
Yes, she
Uh,
has.
she has in all of her life, and she supports so many different things. She's on TV for a commercial about psoriasis, and
Mm.
uh, she has just been so loving and so supportive to people being who they are, showing their true colors. She has been around, and she continues to this day to really be a powerful force, and I applaud her every chance I get.
Yeah, I'm with you. She's one of my top ones up there as well. And lucked out years ago when I lived in Michigan, I got to go and see her at a concert and actually got to go behind stage and get to meet her and get a picture made with her. She's a pretty amazing person. Well, Savage Pup, our Florida puppy for 2025, 26. It's been
26.
it's been awesome to have you on here. I'm glad you reached out wanting to be a part of this, and I'm sure you and I will be talking again very soon.
Yeah, and I will be sure to pass off my social media if anybody wants to contact me. On Facebook, I am Savage Pup. On Instagram, I am Savage Pup FL for Florida, and I'm also available on Telegram at Savage Pup. Please, if you want to friend me, you want to talk to me, you want encouragement, you want to be the next Florida puppy, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk to you all. And thank you, Pup Twigs. I'm so glad you let me join you today. I've really enjoyed the experience. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and don't go anywhere, okay?
All righty.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, keep wagging, keep shining, and stay unleashed.